She hoped he would allow her to go into the library alone, and he did. She held her breath and walked more softly, almost sneaking up on the books that awaited her. She glanced at the window seat. The book was still there, angled so that the sun cast a shadow diagonally across the title. She turned away from it, allowing her glance to capture it now and again as she read the titles of the shelved books. She found a book with small drawings of ships and islands, The Traveler's Guide to Madeira and the West Indies, and leafed casually through it, all the time listening for sounds from below. When she heard the clinking of the metal tea kettle against the stove, she moved quickly to Mr. Linden's book. Esteban told himself that he had been swimming long enough. He had already gone much farther than anyone he knew, even farther than men with strong legs. No one swam all the way to the island. Now he was nearer than he had ever been. But it no longer seemed important to him. It was as if he were swimming not for himself, but for the dolphin that went before him most of the time, but sometimes behind him, nudging him forward. He began breathing hard, showing the dolphin how tired he was, how afraid he was to keep going when he wasn't at all sure of himself. He was not that strong, and had already done more than he had ever done in his life. He stopped and treaded water for a while, with the dolphin only a few feet away. Esteban felt that he and the dolphin were on a mission together, that they were proving something. But what were they proving, and where would it lead? Again, Carol checked the number on the page, even looking at the numbers of the pages before and after the one she was reading. She was right. The story had changed. It was changing from day to day. The boy in the story was swimming out farther each time, and the dolphin swam with him, as if it knew something special about the boy's mission. But how could the story be different each time she read it? She grabbed the book she would borrow, holding it with both hands, and carried it down to Mr. Linden. Ah, George Miller's travel adventure from the Age of Sail. Mr. Linden examined the book over the rimless glasses he wore. Excellent choice. What are you reading? Carol asked. Something about dolphins, I think. The old black man looked quickly away. For a long moment, the room was engulfed in silence. In the distance, barely audible, the gentle lapping of the low tide on the graveled shore came rhythmically. It's not a very good book. His voice was lower than it had been. You wouldn't be interested. I am, she said resolutely. I am interested. Yes, I hear it in your voice, child. I hear it clearly, but let me tell you, warn you even, that there are books like frigates that carry the mind gloriously across oceans of ideas, he said. And then there are books, a few books, I would say, that capture more of the mind than one would want to surrender. Books that are better off never read, never opened. That doesn't make sense, Carol said. Sense? No, I suppose it doesn't, Mr. Linden said. But it doesn't make sense to reach my age and discover that everything doesn't make sense either. You can keep that book you're holding, he went on. It's a fun book. He made drawings of the ships he encountered and the places he visited. Words and pictures. You can't ask for more than that, can you? Carol felt as if she were being dismissed and was angry with herself for not being more careful with Mr. Linden. She thought of not taking the book she held, but finally managed to smile, put on her jacket, and started home. Engulfed. If one